All right, gang, we got some breaking news here. Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Nevada electors have announced they indeed voted for Trump. That's right. We're going to take a look at what happened today as the Electoral College met to vote for president, how some GOP electors announced they cast their ballots for Trump, what it means for the ongoing contesting of this election, and why all of this further underscores the fact that this is not yet over by a long shot. You are not going to want to miss this. Welcome, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you, ready to bring you our latest episode celebrating the inevitable collapse of left-wing globalism and the unstoppable rise of the new conservative age. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. We'd love to have you as a regular part of this channel where each and every day we focus on optimism and encouragement in the midst of all the defeatist fake news nonsense spewed out by our mainstream media. Before we get into it, make sure to click on that link below and head on over to my special website for My Patriot Food Supplies. We saw with the whole crazy pandemic insanity, we cannot wait for an emergency to happen before we respond to one, and no one makes preparing for an emergency more ridiculously easy and affordable than our good friends over at My Patriot Supply. Gang, they're simply the best. Their food kits last up to 24 years in storage, 25, shall I say, and include breakfast, lunches, and dinners. And best of all, they have a guarantee policy that will knock your socks off. And if you act now, you can save $100 off a full 4-week emergency food supply when you click on that link below to my special website. You heard that right, 100 smackers off, so do not wait. I've got my food supply. Make sure you get yours. Click on that link below or go to preparewithsteve.com and save $100 off your very own 4-week emergency food supply today. All right, guys, let's dive right in here. We got some breaking news here and a shocking turn of events. A number of Pennsylvania and Georgia electors have indeed cast their votes for President Trump. This is what was originally reported. We now know that Republican Nevada electors have also cast their ballots for President Trump, declaring him the winner of their 6 electoral votes. Now, the Pennsylvania and Georgia voters are what are called procedural votes. This has been done before, back in 1960, where Democrat electors challenged Richard Nixon's victory in Hawaii by submitting a conditional vote for John F. Kennedy. It was procedural in that they believed that there was still the case that a court could overturn the results or a recount could be outcome determinative, which it was back in 1960. A recount ended up giving Kennedy the state of Hawaii. So this procedural vote by Republican electors in both Georgia and Pennsylvania in effect declares that this election is still being contested. It's not over. And this seeks to preserve any legal claims that they may be presented going forward. Now, according to the Pennsylvania GOP representatives, the Trump campaign asked the Republican electors to do the procedural vote to preserve any potential rights to legal challenges that could overturn today's vote. Now, earlier today, President Trump's senior advisor, Stephen Miller, told Fox News that President Trump will continue to challenge the 2020 election, even though the Electoral College was meeting today to vote for Joe Biden as president-elect. And Miller reiterated that January 20th was the only date set in stone by the Constitution. So he believes the Trump team has more than enough time to prove their case. He also said that an alternative slate of electors will vote in contested states, and those results would be sent to Congress as well, which appears to be precisely what we saw in Nevada today. Again, underscoring that this indeed continues to be a contested election. President Trump left no doubt last night in terms of his intentions. He tweeted out that as long as this election is contested, the votes cannot be certified. The election is officially under protest. In the meantime, the president's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, and the Trump legal team they're filing a suit in every single one of those states that the Texas suit filed against, but this time on behalf of President Trump. If you recall, we did a live stream on Saturday on this, after the Supreme Court threw the Texas suit out, claiming that it lacked standing, that Texas was not directly affected by the actions of Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Georgia. But now Trump's legal team has filed suits in all those 4 states on behalf of the president, who was clearly affected, right? He clearly has standing. He is adversely affected by virtue of these states and their accused improprieties. And so you have immediate filings in all 4 states. And at the same time, you still have Sean Parnell's and Mike Kelly's case against Pennsylvania. You got the Republican party of Pennsylvania's case regarding the Pennsylvania Supreme Court's illegally changing Pennsylvania Law Act 77. In addition, you've got a Michigan court granting access to the Trump team to their Dominion voting system machines. And then this morning, the Wisconsin Supreme Court decided in favor of the Trump team in ruling against Wisconsin county clerks who declared voters indefinitely confined because of COVID. The key there is that if you have indefinite confinement status in Wisconsin, you're allowed to bypass their very strict voter ID law if the voter is declared confined due to their residence, due to age or physical illness or some kind of disability. What happened is that you had clerks telling voters that because of COVID, all voters automatically qualified for indefinite confinement status, which of course is absurd. And I believe the Wisconsin Supreme Court was unanimous in ruling that the clerks were wrong in telling voters that they could be automatically counted as indefinitely confined simply because of COVID. Now, given that Biden is only about 20,000 votes ahead in Wisconsin, we'll have to see what happens as a result of that decision. The Supreme Court of Wisconsin did throw out the Trump team's bombshell lawsuit to disqualify over 221,000 mail-in ballots that had no record of a written request. In Wisconsin, you're not allowed to vote by mail unless you actually request a mail-in ballot. During the audit in Wisconsin, it took upwards of 10 days. The Trump legal team found over 220,000 ballots that they claim had no record of a written request, so they asked the Wisconsin Supreme Court to throw those ballots out. All the court right now is doing, all the courts are doing, is they are signaling they want nothing to do with this. They're not going to throw out 220,000 votes, right? They're kicking this back to the state legislatures, which is where the Trump team has wanted it all along. The courts aren't going to want to get involved. Legislatures are going to have to do that. And the legislatures in these swing states, the Trump team wants them sending alternative electors to Washington, D.C. on January 6th. That's the date that the president of the Senate, that's Mike Pence, the vice president, he is supposed to certify the electors. If he does not certify them, then it gets kicked into the House, as I understand it, where every state gets one vote. Right, you send each state legislature sends delegates to the House of Representatives. You got 30 Republican states, 20 Democrat states. Every state gets one vote, and Trump wins re-election easily. And I argued Saturday on our live stream after the Supreme Court threw out the Texas mega lawsuit against the four swing states, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia. This is why I argued this is not over by a long shot. All right, not even by a little bit. There's still so many moving pieces here. Anything can end up happening. And now you've got this bombshell report that we now have contested electors in 3 of the 6 swing states, which is the 4 states sued by Texas plus Arizona and Nevada. Now, I would like to talk to you also about what's going on with the Dominion voting system's forensic examination in Michigan that a judge ruled needed to be made public today, and it was. I frankly don't feel comfortable talking about this on the YouTube platform. They've been demonetizing our videos that continue to follow the Trump campaign's contesting of this election. So in line to that, I want to encourage you all to join our Turley Talks Insiders Club. This is an exclusive membership site that we put together precisely as a hedge against big tech censorship. And the best part about it is you get direct access to me. We have a live Q&A every Thursday evening. It's exclusively for our Insiders Club members. We've got a whole library of deep dive videos, a new one every week, again, only for our members. You get super discounts on all our merch. You get access to a live stream with me every week where I give you a preview of the videos that I'm putting together for the week, which you could give me your input on. Plus, you'll be part of an international group of conservatives from all over the world. You're going to absolutely love interacting with them and the fellowship that we have. And to make it even sweeter, just so you can try it out, if you click on the link below today, you're going to get your first 2 weeks absolutely free, no obligation. But that offer is about to expire. So make sure to click on the link below, sign up for our Insiders Club, get your first 2 weeks absolutely free. And I'll look forward to seeing you at our exclusive Q&A, this one Thursday night at 8 p.m. All right, so as all of that's going on, we have some new polling out that shows tremendous support for the president. This coming from John McLaughlin, the personal pollster for the president. He found that 67% of Americans thought it was fair that Trump got the recounts where the difference was less than 1%. Voters think it's fair that Trump go through the recounts and the legal challenges. 58% of Georgians want a special session of their legislature to meet and get to the bottom of what went on in their state. The pressure, in fact, that Georgians are bringing to bear on their politicians is causing the two GOP Senate candidates who are slated for their runoff on January 5th to begin lending their support for the Georgia legislature to seat their own electors. So there's no question that things are beginning to bear the real fruit here for the president. Trump's efforts are certainly paying off. Now, I do think that this next week or so is critical here. I do think we're coming down to the wire, and I think things are going to be increasingly clear in terms of what are President Trump's options going forward. But again, there's no question that the GOP electors in Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Nevada are reminding us that this is emphatically not over. There's still a lot of procedure to go through here, and we'll certainly be keeping our eyes fixed on how things develop. Now, before you go, make sure to like this video, comment down below, and definitely subscribe to my channel. We'd love to have you as a regular part in this channel. And you'll definitely want to check out my latest video I just uploaded on how Trumpism is rising like never before as the election awakens a sleeping giant. You are not going to want to miss that. So make sure to click on the link, and I will see you over there. God bless.